Hello viewer and welcome to the Shanghai International Circuit for the Chinese Grand Prix, which is the third instalment of our F1 mega career. The highlight of practice was the fact that we came in third, which was a big surprise considering our teammate ended up 15th, so big difference between the two of us. Hopefully that performance will carry over into qualifying. I think I'm third in practice, so I assume we can at least make it into Q3 this week, which will be our first time in Q3 in our career. So 12th is the objective, but I do hope to achieve better than that this session as we head out to the track for our first competitive lap of the weekend on the option tyres this weekend to start off, rather than doing the strategy of putting the primes on first and setting a lap in, which didn't seem to work for me so far, so I think we'll wait until we're in a more competitive car to do that. As we head down into turn 1, already running a little bit wide, and it's not the cleanest into turn 2. Sort of hacking the wheel a little bit to try and get around, so losing a little bit of time, but for Q1 it will be more than enough, hopefully, for us to get a lap in. Head down into turn 6, keep it nice and clean, hit the apex, mount the curve a little bit, so just a bit sloppy there. Hopefully we can improve in later laps as we head down into turn 7, understeering a little bit, we keep it just about on the line, run it a little bit deep and the steering starts to wash out as you go a little bit too far into the corner. Do the double left-hander, keeping ourselves off the curving there. Just going to unsettle the car as we navigate the few corners just before the straight. A little bit sloppy, but we'll get the power down and the DRS open as early as possible for the straight. Here we can take a little bit of a breather, enjoy the beautiful Chinese skyline in the distance as we head down. It's the heaviest braking zone on the track. We get it done pretty well, hit the apex, mount a little bit of curb. This just helps rotate the car, not something you want to do too much in the race because it could end up in you spinning. We round the final corner then, and we're going to open the DRS as wide as it will go. Won't be able to do that in the race because there's no DRS zone for a couple of years in China. I think it does take a while for them to add it in. But P9 in Q1, so the top teams normally lower their engines for these earlier sessions, but in a shock twist of events, our teammate goes flying ahead of us into P2, so it puts us to shame with our P9. Hopefully we can get him back as we head for our second lap, Q2. Didn't put a banker lap in, which is a bit cocky of me, a bit arrogant to assume that I would breeze into Q3. And a banker lap I probably should have done, because this Q2 lap is not that impressive, nor is it that fast, so let's ride on board then as I show you what's going to happen. Our lap was hindered by some traffic. We have Vettel here and then Massa appears later on into the lap. You can just see Vettel sits on the line and starts turning left, and that does put me a little bit off as we head through turn 7 and 8. Not that I can get turn 9 right anyway, so can't put too much blame at Vettel because we didn't do particularly well through that corner, but you can see the time we lose here. Massa just sticks on the line, so we've got to go left and then right again. Only to turn left once more to try and make the corner, so not an ideal lap with this traffic around. Clearly the top team's threatened by the pace we have, seeing as that they're going to put cars on track just to block us. Massa in P10, so if we were to get into Q3 he would be knocked out, so he's got an interest in making sure we don't put a good lap in. As we come to the end of the straight once more, can we get the last turn right? We can do, so sector 3, our cleanest on the track, but I don't think it's going to be able to make the difference up. As we round the final corner, take the bollard with us. As we finish our Q2 lap, what do we get? We get P17. So we are out in last place of the Q2 runners. Our teammate in P13 with a lap 1 seconds faster than ours. So yet again failed the team's objective of 12 from qualifying. So it does mean we're starting to build a little bit of a reputation of becoming a bad qualifier, but at least we can make it up in the race, as we saw in last race, in fact, where we managed to get 4 points, which sends us 3 points clear of our teammates. So at least when it comes down to it, we do have the pace to beat our teammate. P15 is the objective for the race, as we head to the grid then for the Chinese Grand Prix. Hopefully it will result in points, continue our point streak that we began last race. Alonso on pole, followed by the 2 McLarens. Teammate, as I say, in P13, ourselves in P17. So a little bit of some overtakes to catch up as we get there. As we go to 5 red lights on the Chinese Grand Prix, Ricciardo occupies yet again the grid slot to our front right. Senna just ahead, and we get a decent start on both of them, but just as we start accelerating, they start putting a little bit of a gap. We've got a Sauber going down the inside. Senna, under no threat whatsoever really, goes wide on his own, which opens up the door for us. Looking down the inside of Senna and Kobayashi, but Senna is still on the inside, so I've got to give him room. That's going to give him a good run on Verne there to get another position. The 2 Toro Rossos having a little bit of a battle. As we come, Rosberg comes across Verne, so he brakes, we hit the back of him. Rosberg's still going slowly, so we go down the inside, and there's a bit of a crash behind us, as you can see the carbon, or hear the carbon finder crack behind us. A race engineer giving us a little bit of talking to for hitting Verne, but there's not much we could have done, in my biased opinion, as we try and get onto the back of Maldonado. We have overtaken our teammate, which is a good sign this early, but we just put our left tyre onto the curb, and that means we're going to run wide. We've got no enough grip to keep turning left, as our teammate looks down the inside for a move, pulls out of it because he's got a defend from Kobayashi. And just ahead, as Maldonado rounds the corner for the straight, spins out, which brings us into P11, and with a yellow flag, I think that will give us a perfect opportunity to have a little bit of a replay of the race start. So, the start we get keeps us in line with the cars around us. Senna on the left, Kobayashi looking down the inside there. Can't quite get the move done just yet, but due to our poor braking, he manages to just put a little bit of a gap. Starts putting a bit of a move on the Toro Rosso, but the nature of the corner means we're going to get a bit more of an advantage as Senna goes to the inside of Verne, and what a move from him. To be fair, Alonso leads the Grand Prix going down into turn 6. And here's that contact, so I think looking at it from this angle, Rosberg just guides Jean-Eric Verne into the back of our teammate Paul di Resta, and Verne with nowhere to go tries to brake, but plows into the rear of our teammate, braking his front wing, and then behind him Senna crashes into the back of Verne. So I don't know if there's any penalties dished out, because I do not have access to the race director. As we come on for a few laps ahead then, our teammate looks for a move round the outside of turn 1, but can't get the move done. A few laps later though, we come to the straight. DRS is active this lap, so he's going to have a bit of a run, heading down into turn 14. Heavy braking, doesn't quite get the side-by-side for a move, but as a result of me locking up, he gets through. I'm behind as we head through turn 16. The rest moves over, so we've got a jink to the left, and there could have been contact if we didn't take avoiding action. I think the idea was it'd stop us from getting a run down turn 1, but fortunately for us, we just have the speed to catch up and get the move done into turn 1. So the teammate rivalry's heating up a little bit, because there's been a few moves here which have been a little bit marginal from the two of us in this Grand Prix and in previous Grand Prix. So a couple laps later then we come in to serve our pit stop for the race. We need a good one here, because Paul di Resta in the past has managed to go 1 lap longer and still get the pass done despite us on fresher tyres. So a good stop, not held up by anyone in the pits, so this could give us a good run to try and keep our position as we head back out onto the track. So we do manage to keep our position from Paul di Resta in the pit stop, but a poor run out of turn 16 is going to leave us under threat as Paul goes flying past down the start-finish straight. So that's going to teach me to get a better exit out of turn 16. Can we get the move back? He leaves it wide, so we're going to have a little look, and frustration gets the better of me as I just plough into the back of Paul. The team are not going to be happy with that, but I think somewhat justified. Well, I say justified. It was revenge from turn 16 a few laps ago. As we head down into turn 6, can we get the move done? He leaves the door wide open again. We look down the inside, try and pin him to the outside, but he just gets through. So, like I say, this teammate rivalry is reaching new levels this race. I'm only 3 races into the season, but it's already getting hairy. As we follow Paul then for a few more corners, we've got Rosberg ahead, so there's an incident that we haven't seen, where Rosberg is now in 24th place, so he's going to be showing blue flags down the straight, which I think is going to slow Paul up just enough. So as we get DRS coming down the straight, Hamilton with a 139.5, so he's putting in some quali laps in this session. We look down the inside of Paul di Resta. You have to sort of cut the curb a little bit because he's not giving us a whole load of room. Not that he really needed to, but we did have a front wing and a bit of a tyre on either side, so he should give us some room. Turn 16 a little bit poor, but because we've got the slipstream, we're going to be able to stay with him. Kobayashi behind, hopefully trying to get a move on both of us at this point, and Paul just slams the door into turn 1 but goes wide, so we're going to send it. We can't quite keep it. I think if I'd slowed it down we would have been side by side, had an opportunity to get the move. As we head down into turn 3, Paul di Resta is ahead. Can we get a move down into turn 6, akin to what we did a few laps ago? He leaves the door open once more. We dive. We're much closer side by side this time than we were last time, as we pin Paul to the outside. A little bit of contact between tyres, but it's not enough to send him spinning. But a great move from Paul di Resta. He's on the inside, forces us to give him room, and he just takes that position back. So yet again, we're gonna skip to the straight. Our race engineer just telling us to use DRS as if we weren't already. Kobayashi, I believe, is closing the gap at this point, so we do need to get a bit of a buffer. DRS open once again as we head down into turn 14. Can we get the move done? This time we're much faster. Oh, we get the apex. And on top of that, we get the move done as well. So there we are, the teammate battle for P11, and we come out on top. Our turn 16's a bit poor because I ride the curb, so we're going to come under threat. Paul di Resta coming through, I drift over left. I think he bails out of the move, thinking that I'm going to try and push him off track. I was going to keep it respectful, but he didn't go for the move. Kobayashi gets ahead. So I think Paul di Resta is going to be absolutely furious at this point if we can't get past Kobayashi. Because I think in his eyes, he's going to say we pushed him, or we're going to push him onto the grass if we went for the move. So, yet again, this race, teammate battle heats up to another step as Kobayashi, with DRS open, tries to get the move from us. I think we're just a little bit too far away. Maybe not now as we go a little bit too deep into the corner. Kobayashi looking to get that move done. I think di Resta is furiously trying to get past to try and close the gap. We get past turn 16. Kobayashi's right there. Is he going to get us on the line? We use up all the curves we can and we stay ahead for P11. Kobayashi P12 and our teammate P13, who's going to be absolutely fuming with this race, with the way we've had this battle. The rookie comes in, starts fighting like this, and Paul di Resta loses out. And as our race engineer says, 1 point off a points paying position. So yet again, a good sign for the season to come. So all that's left to say is thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one and the 2 videos previous. As always, if you have any improvements, please put it in the comments below. I hope to see you in the next video, which will be at Bahrain. But if not, no worries. It's been a pleasure to have you around. Regardless, take care and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye bye.